Today I would like to share with you 6 practical tips for preparing and organizing your Christian Light Education homeschool materials. But don't click away just yet, because even though this video is about Christian Light resources, it doesn't mean that you can't use these tips with other homeschool curriculum. So stick around. Hi everyone, welcome to our homeschool table. My name is Jerilyn. I'm a homeschooling mom of 3 kids, ages 11, 4, and 2. This is our 7th year homeschooling, and my older daughter is in 6th grade this year. We've been using Christian Light Education since she was in 4th grade. We started with reading 4, then we used reading 5 last year, and then about halfway through last year when she was in 5th grade, we switched to their math program. So today I am just organizing and preparing my Math 5 curriculum, because we are about to start that next week actually. So I just thought I would show you some of the tips and tricks that I've learned over the years of using their curriculum. Today's emoji is going to be some sort of school supply, so a paper clip or a notebook or a pen, something like that. So if you don't wind up with any comments or questions specifically about what I share today, go ahead and leave me one of those emojis down below in the comments. Okay, so to start with, I just wanted to give you a little bit of an overview of what a typical Christian Light Education program would have. So most of their programs have 10 light units. The reading program from grades, I believe, 2 and up are only 5 light units. So they're just a semester course, but everything else is 10 light units. And a light unit is just a little booklet where it has 17 lessons, at least in the math programs. They are 17 lessons. The reading, I believe, was 16. I have some very in-depth flip-throughs and reviews of reading 4 and 5, and then math 4, and I just recently put out a math 5 flip-through as well. So I will leave all of those video links down below for you, just in case you are wanting to learn more about these specific programs. Now, along with the light units, you can also choose to get 2 teacher's manuals. There would be one for the first 5 light units, and then one for the second 5 light units. Instead, I don't worry about getting the teacher's guide. I choose to get the answer keys. And these are very detailed answer keys. Every single problem has an answer. And the nice part about these light units is that the teaching for the teacher is right in the lesson. So this would be the new information right here and some practice problems. And then on the next page, you would start the We Remember section, which is the spiral review section. So we really like this method because all of the teaching is right here in the book. So my first tip for organizing your materials is to find a place somewhere on a shelf where you can keep all of your light units, whether they are used or unused. You can also keep your answer keys, and then I'll show you in a few minutes what I use this folder for. But you would just need a spot that can fit all of those things. My spot is down here, which is where you saw me in my thumbnail photo. But that is just an easy place that I can reach because this is the spot that I sit at when we're doing our homeschool work. So find a spot for your materials all in one place. Tip number 2 is to keep them in a place that your child can access easily. And the reason for that is because sometimes my daughter might have a question about how to do a particular problem that is from 3 light units back, and she needs to access them in a spot that's easy for her to reach. So that is my second tip, is just to keep it in a spot that's easy for your child to get to. Tip number 3 is to have a designated spot for your child to put their things. So I like to use a kind of a magazine box, I guess you would call it, but this is where I keep all of her current light units, her math reference charts, and any other tools that she might need, like a ruler or protractor, flashcards, and even a timer for her speed drills. So I highly encourage you to have some sort of a place where they can keep all of their materials ready to go. Okay, tip number 4, and this one might be the most important one, is don't throw away your old used light units. Not until at least you have finished this entire course. And the reason for that is because sometimes, like I said earlier, when your child needs to go back and look for how to do a certain type of problem, they can easily get back into their light unit, find the one that they need, and get that information so that they can solve the problem. So do not throw away your used light units until you've finished that curriculum. Now that leads me to tip number 5, which is to make a photocopy of all of the table of contents. Now, the new teaching doesn't start until book 2, or in our case, 502. So what I did is I made a photocopy of each of the table of contents, and I labeled at the top which light unit it was from. And the reason why that is so helpful is because what we found when we were getting towards the end of the curriculum is that my daughter would need to go back in and find an example for how to do something, but she wouldn't necessarily remember exactly which light unit that was from. So this was helpful because instead of taking every light unit out, opening to the table of contents, and going through, 3 or 4 until she finally found the one she needed, she could just look here in our little handy dandy contents pages and find which light unit she needed to go to quickly. So I did this yesterday. It took me about 10 minutes to make photocopies of each of the table of contents. So definitely recommend doing that. Tip number 6, which is really standard for any level and subject that you are doing in Christian Light Education, is to remove the tests from the middle of your light unit. So I've already done this. I will show a little clip of that, but basically you just go through and right in the middle of the booklet, there is a test. And so you just carefully rip that out. And then what I do is I like to put it in a folder like this one, and I keep all of the light unit tests in this folder so that they are easy for my daughter to find and she can get them out herself. When you are reading through the light unit kind of directions at the front of the first booklet, they will recommend that you also take the quizzes out. The quizzes in the math booklets are at the very back, and because they are in the very back, I don't actually rip them out because I'm not really concerned that my daughter's going to go and look at the quizzes so that she knows what's on them. She's going to find out eventually anyway. The only reason that I take the tests out is because they're right in the middle of the book and they interrupt a lesson. So instead of having her have to flip back and forth and worry about that, I do take the tests out. But it's not necessarily because I don't want her to see the test ahead of time. Well, I hope that it was helpful for you to see today how I prepare and organize my Christian Light Education materials. I will be doing a video here soon about different scheduling ideas and different ways that you can schedule based on what you need from the curriculum or how long you want to work on it before you get it done. If you're watching this video in the future, I will leave a link down below in the description box for you so you can easily find that information next. Also, don't forget to put today's emoji down below in the comments if you haven't already, along with any other comments or questions that you might have about Christian Light Education or any other homeschool related topics. Don't forget to click that subscribe button down below and give this video a thumbs up before you leave. Thank you so much for hanging out with me today at Our Homeschool Table, and we'll see you next time.